So, we watched the film. Good film. I think it was good. This man thinks it was also pretty good. I
liked it.
have some notes. I've got non-spoiler notes. I don't have any spoiler notes, but we can just rattle off spoilers after we do the non-spoiler talk, because my first point is that the
Shush.
plot. This guy. Okay, so the plot was really well paced, I think, because they had a clear end goal that they wanted to get to, and they started off with, "Hey, you don't know anything about these guys," for a little bit, and then they introduced just all of the bad guys straight away, which was, well, not all of them. They introduced the two main bad guys, and then they went, "Yep, here's how ruthless they are. Let's go to Earth and show the humans." And they show the humans for all of, I think it was about 10, 15 minutes. And then they went, "Here's the plot. Here's the Transformers. Here's what you want to see."
They needed the humans though, in the sense that, well, the thing is, Transformers is, in TV wise, Transformers has always been humans and robots make a plot, make the plan, they go on. Unlike the comics and stuff. So the way they've gone is, I'm happy with it. Like, it's not 50-50, it's like 25-70. So the Autobots are the main, like, well, obviously all the Transformers are the main focus, but you got humans to lead to little plot points. And they've done that very well throughout the first, what I would say that they only really used the humans throughout the first like 10 minutes and the last 20 minutes of the film.
Like, as in, like, solely human scenes and all that. It was only really, like, solely humans talking to each other, having funny. A lot of the humans were actually really, really funny in the film, as good, like, grounding characters to be like, these are giant alien robots. What is going on?
It wasn't like with, what's her name? Haley, the last actor that played the chick from Bumblebee. It wasn't just like, oh, holy... talking mushrooms, my car transformed. Oh, it's got a face underneath it.
Yeah. I mean...
I think that...
Go ahead.
So I just want to say, because in the line that the Bumblebee is connected to this film, I think it's funny that they did include like little innuendos to like the toys and stuff, like how you can see Bumblebee's face under the car, or you can see like they do like little things where, like, say Mirage will open his door and you just see his hand up against the side panel of the window or something like that. I just think it's funny to see that they do something so similar like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Transformers is just an inherently cheesy thing, and they've got to lean into the cheese, because unlike, you have stuff like the other 5 Transformers films before Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast, it doesn't feel like 5. Where they just like, yeah, we're gonna be either extremely serious or we're gonna have the funny comedy section, and then everything else will be serious. And exactly. But in Bumblebee, it was very much like, it's a coming of age story for the human character, and it's also a coming of age story for Bumblebee, and it's also a little bit of ET sprinkled in there, because the executive producer is Steven Spielberg. Of course, there's going to be a homage to him. Rise of the Beasts, it was a lot more big. It was a lot bigger than Bumblebee, obviously, because there was more than one Autobot. And then they went, Unicron. And it was very
Yeah.
It was very jarring when we watched the second trailer, and they're just like, Unicron. It's like the first trailer had no indication of that, and then they went, Unicron.
And then you had what, Scourge appear as well.
They had Scourge,
is this just like, Lockdown 2.0?
I mean, that's essentially what he was, in a way, but with the added thing of, he's a servant of Unicron. It's like, this guy's going to be extremely ruthless. What else are my notes?
Okay, so I just want to say, on the note of Scourge, I think he is a much better character than Lockdown.
Yeah. Lockdown, he had Mark Ryan's voice, which was Mark Ryan is a pretty good voice actor. You can do a lot. But Peter Dinklage? Peter Dinklage, though. Peter Dinklage? I did not expect Peter Dinklage, who is known for getting removed from the entirety of the Destiny voice acting because he was so shit at voice acting. And then in this, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
who did he play in Destiny?
He played the main little floating cum jar. I'm going to call it a cum jar.
Your little core thing, whatever.
Yeah, and then they replaced him with Nolan North because they're like, we've got to get a voice actor.
Okay, back on topic there.
Back on topic. The second point I have is that the dialogue was really well written, and it was very, very... It wasn't like drawn out. It was just quick and punchy, which I'm a big fan of, because if someone's just talking and then talking and then talking... Yes, Ethan?
Can I talk about one scene?
Yes, as long as it doesn't spoil it.
They talked too long on top of that. They said the same thing twice. That's the only time it was terrible.
There were some very, very funny bits of dialogue. Like, this is a genuinely good comedy film as well as a good action film, which is surprising. And I think a lot of it has to do with the voice cast that they had. Pete Davidson? Just having
Actually
Pete
did a
Davidson.
good job.
He did a very good job.
Like, I don't think that he does a bad job in any of his roles, but he actually did turn it into himself.
And a lot of like the lines where Mirage isn't actually speaking with his mouth, he's like just speaking to Noah or something. That was like Pete Davidson ad-libbing. just improvising random lines and all that. The characters, like the actual Transformers, they were written like people. Like Optimus he had a character arc. Like,
they also took on the whole human side versus robot side, so they both had the same, like Noah and Prime both had the same outlook on how they were going to take their homes.
Yeah.
Is that really a spoiler, saying that they both had the same motive in mind to keep their homes from being destroyed?
No, that's not, no. Because with Unicron, he likes to eat planets. So, yeah, there's definitely... They both want to stop Unicron. I don't think that would be a spoiler.
This little thing? It won't focus, I promise you.
Don't worry, my camera won't even focus on my face.
It's the nubber for Lego brick. I just cut it off.
I thought that you just just popped it out.
Nah, I actually full on just cut it off.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a custom. Yeah, all the Transformers were really well written. Like, their dialogue was really well written. Their characters were really well written. Optimus was the leader who's he's trying his best. Mirage is the comedic relief, which I thought Bumblebee was going to be that, which he kind of was. RC was definitely like the lieutenant, like as in when they talk about
agent with all the special techniques and knows all the ins and outs of people. And
Ethan, there was a lot of screenshots of her first appearance with some very, very down bad captions. But yeah, RC's definitely, she is the soldier. She's the soldier of the group. She does a thing.
The Ironhide of what Ironhide should be.
Yeah. She was the lieutenant who didn't take no shit. She knew everything, what was going on. She had plans going and she's doing all that. Good character. She passed the Bechdel test. She passed the Bechdel test with Elena, who is another really good character in the film. That's Dominique Fishback's character. She was really well written too. Oh, that's another thing. There is one time where a character says the word racist, and you won't expect it. You won't expect it. They're just like, we're going to tell the story, and we're going to do all that. Which a lot of the angry people on Twitter might be surprised at, because when they saw that there was a black protagonist, they went two. They said, "Oh, it's woke," which it's not what woke means, but and then because also the director is also black, they went, "Oh God, they're taking our jobs," which I will say, Stephen Cable Jr. There are reports that he will be doing a lot of the next few Transformers films. That come out, because this is going to be a trilogy.
From this point, there's another 2 movies.
Yeah, like last year, I'm pretty sure they said, "Yep, it's going to be a trilogy." That was before the visual effects was done.
This is like Fast X.
Yeah, but
better.
Yeah, not as I think actually this had a better opening weekend than Fast X. I think. I'm not sure. I'll check that later and throw it up on screen if I'm extremely right or extremely wrong.
See, my brain just said it was just going to pop up on my screen right now.
It just pops up over your face. Just,
good heavens.
Yeah, and also finally, this isn't a spoiler, I think. The humans were actually important to the plot. If they weren't in the film wouldn't have ended how it did. Yeah, they had a point in the plot. It wasn't like, hey, the only reason that Sam is along with the rest of the Autobots is because he had the Allspark implanted in his brain. Because we couldn't figure out another way of making this character follow with the rest of the Autobots. I really liked the film. The action was really good. I think it was actually better than Bumblebee's action.
Bumblebee didn't have a lot though, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the choreography, and I loved the fact that John Cena was in that film.
I forget he's in it until I watch it.
Yeah, so do I. I can't see him.
I generally just forget that he's in the film, and it's like,
yeah,
John Cena was in this one?
I forgot John Cena was in the Fast and Furious franchise. That was like a day after I watched Fast 9 and I watched Fast X, and I was like, oh yeah!
Hey, wait a minute.
But no more Fast X talk. Because diagnosed ADHD and idiot.
I'm carving out a Lego brick right now.
You're carving out a Lego brick, and I'm like, that's all my notes done. Was plot well paced, quick and punchy dialogue. Characters had roles better fitting the team. Transformers felt sentient, and humans were important to plot. That's
okay. Do you know what my notes were?
What were your notes?
Car keys with Coop Clip Hot Wheels on it. X-Acto blade. It's 8x2 Lego brick with now missing stuff.
Now it's a 7.5 by 2. 7.5 by 1.5.
A roll of airplane tape and a kit of assortment model kit pieces. Without spoilers, I would like to name off some of my favorite things that they did do in the film.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, because it's just been me talking. It's just been me.
One of my... yeah, I've said a few things. It's like, meh. I said something.
I would like your input, darling.
Some of the things that I enjoyed in the film were probably the visual effects throughout most of it. Some of it's a bit choppy, but it still looks really good. There is one scene towards the end where it's just Optimus in frame, and he looks a bit too fake to the frame. Like, he doesn't look like he's actually in that area. It looks like he's on an overlay or something. But yeah, visual effects are definitely big for me. I like the overall design of most of the characters.
Most. I think everyone on the planet Earth knows which character you mean not so much. And
it's also not just that character. I like the design of Mirage, but he feels more like a Jazz than a Mirage.
Definitely.
The head looks
That's
good.
what
The head
lot
is
of
definitely
people.
Mirage.
Yeah, a lot of people were like,
Jazz.
it's Jazz, and I'm like, come
but I'm
on.
not fussed.
Yeah, but it's like I agree with you. I'm not fussed. Like, we've had to deal with this for what? Since 2007? Where they went, yep, Ironhide is no longer red or an SUV. He is now a black truck. And then no one complained. And they went, Bumblebee is now a yellow and black Camaro instead of a
Was
little...
Jazz a Porsche in the
No, he was a Pontiac.
'07 film?
You gotta remember, for Transformers 2007, if you gotta wonder what the vehicle mode is, just, it's a GM vehicle. It's a GM. Because there was the Peterbilt, which was the only non-GM Autobot. Then there was Bumblebee as a Camaro, Ironhide as a GMC, Ratchet was a Hummer, and Jazz was the Pontiac Solstice, which is the reason why he died in that film is because the Pontiac Solstice went out of production in that year. No other reason not to benefit the plot.
What were the twins? The twins in the ice cream truck. What brand of car was the ice cream truck in that?
Ice cream truck? Which one? 2007?
Mud Flappin's 09. Mud Flappin Skids.
I think there was a Chevy truck.
It was like an old style, like
it was a really
50-bit Chevy.
Yeah. Oh, another thing, non-spoilery thing. Music was amazing. Even just all of the music was amazing. Like the non-diegetic music. What?
Where'd you go?
What do you mean?
You're like on my screen. You're just cubes.
Bro, turn on the Minecraft mod. The music was really good. Like even the licensed music, like they chose a lot of 90s music, is good music. They actually used licensed music as like sort of like how you would use a score in some parts, and it was really it was a good what's the word? Good piece of subversion. Yes.
There we go, that can be in shot now.
Yeah. I was wondering what you were doing. Hang on, no. Ethan, do the Wojak face to it. Perfect. Spoiler now. We are going to spoil. If you want to click off video and not be spoiled, then click off video and
don't want to see our pants.
You don't want to see our pants.
Because they're spoiled.
Spoiler talk. Spoiler talk. Can we talk about G.I. Joe? Please. Can we please talk about G.I. Joe?
Okay, I'm not big on G.I. Joe, so you have to explain a lot of it to me. But yes, okay. G.I. Joe popped up at the very end of the film when why am I thinking Nolan? It's Noah. Was asked to join the secret society where the Autobots wanted to be recruited to help.
Secret society. Cause. My brain went. He was recruited by the Freemasons. Noah goes to Bohemian Grove.
He was hired by the Kingsmen.
It's just fucking Colin Firth and Taron Egerton just sitting there. Yeah. Transformers talk. G.I. Joe, it's going to be interesting. I think G.I. Joe is going to be like Sector 7 in a way, or they might make an offhand comment like, we absorbed Sector 7 into thingy, because Sector 7's still a part of this. Because that was when Bumblebee was like, it could be a reboot or a prequel. They hadn't decided yet, so they decided to include a lot of stuff, including Simmons. I like the fact they included Simmons and Bumblebee. That was fun. But there we go. Snap my fingers. I think G.I. Joe could work really well as long as they have a G.I. Joe film before whatever crossover they do, because they're going to do a crossover. But it sounds like the next Transformers film won't be that crossover. Thankfully, it seems like it's going to be Transformers films, G.I. Joe films separately, and then Hasbro film of just Hasbro characters.
I actually kind of want, if they do a multi-universal film with all the subcategories of characters and stuff, I want them to do it as its own separate thing. Yes, tied into all the main films, but when they do the other films, it's like it doesn't exist in a sense.
So yeah. So they're gonna have to try and work their way around it, because I would like it if Noah wasn't in the next Transformers films and he was just in the G.I. Joe films, because then it would be like he's going from G.I. Joe and then he's just gonna be a regular dude working with the Autobots, or they're just gonna straight up be like, "Yep, Transformers are a part of the GI Joe now."
Or they could do it as just like as a little cameo thing here and there. Once Noah migrates to GI Joe, just
If he
every
does,
now
we don't
and
know if
then
he said yes or not.
Well, yeah, true. As if like say Prime or I don't know Mirage shows up, because Mirage is his car. He drives Mirage around as his buddy.
I do have a feeling that Mirage might be the only one to go into GI Joe as their own separate films, and they'll be like, "Oh, weren't you in Peru?" And he'll be like, "Yeah." But yeah, if they did it well, because Rise of Cobra it didn't do that well, I think that's because no one really cared about GI Joe at that point. If they have someone who cares about GI Joe writing and directing, because although Stephen Caple Jr. really likes Transformers, he wasn't able to write this film, which was it was a little bit of a flag, a beige flag, if you will, for me. I like that face. But he did have a lot of input in the script in a way, which is thankful, because he's the only reason that Unicron is in the film, and the reason that the Terracons are in the film, and the reason that like Optimus's character arc is in the film is because of Cable Jr. and him being like, "Hey, can we please add this in because it will make the film good?"
I'm gonna take your Terracon note there for a second. The amount of badge references on Scourge's arm.
Oh yeah.
Is amazing. I saw the Rescue Bots logo. I saw
Autobots, Rescue Bots, Decepticons, Predacons, Maximals. They had Autobot Guard. Like, it was the Autobot logo with the two streaks off the side. That's Autobot Guard. Like, Ultra Magnus Autobot Guard.
It was pretty cool that it wasn't just Autobot logos. There was a few Decepticon ones on there
like,
as well.
I love.
He's not locked down.
There's the point in the film where they're just about to go over the bridge, and Optimus, you can see in his rearview mirror, he's looking at Scourge, sort of, and it's like focused on all the badges, and you can tell that Optimus just got so pissed seeing those badges on there that he fucking spins around and does that transform. He's like, "I'm gonna take his key and then take off his head," which was that was the best line ever. It's a lot better than "give me your face." I loved how angry Peter Cullen got in this film. Like, especially at that end part, it was like, he every time he spoke, it gave me goosebumps because of just how much emotion was in it.
I'm just reading here, like, people that haven't watched the film yet analyzing Scourge in the trailers, and you can actually see one of the Autobot logos on his arm, and like the caption for this image was Scourge an Autobot in his previous life. But later on, if you look at a comparison shot from the film, that Autobot logo is actually the Predacon logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Scourge and all of his badges I thought was absolutely fantastic. Because that clearly just shows that they did research into what like the different faction badges look like, and they even went out of their way to redesign some of them, which I thought was cool. And then, okay, I'm gonna rant a little bit about Wheeljack because Pablo, Q, whatever you want to call him, the racist joke. He is the one to say that's racist.
I love that because he called the human racist. They did a reverse Uno on what I thought would happen at some point. Because there was that part where the what was that? Noah was trying to go for a job, and then the guy said, "We can't have people like you ruining the reputation." And then Noah says, "People like me," and I was like, "Is that like a race sort of thing, or is that just saying?"
But no, that was just because he was lazy.
It was because he was lazy, yeah. But there was definitely a part where it's like you could see how someone like Noah, growing up where he was, could see that as something racist or something like that. But he didn't call him a racist and go, "You can't fucking to me," and all that. He just went, "I'm gonna take that on the chin," because that was unfortunately what you had to do in 1994. But Then Wheeljack called him racist, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Because
even though I was like,
Wheeljack have in the film again?
how is that racist? He has a Spanish accent, and Noah thought that he was either Mexican or Spanish. Yeah, able to speak Spanish, either being Mexican or Spanish. I'm not sure what other.
Oh, he asked
countries
where he
might have
grew
a-
up, and he's like,
Yeah.
I grew up on Cybertron.
oh yeah, Cybertron. It was so good. I liked Wheeljack as the little character that he was given. It was good enough. It was good enough.
Okay, so my big rant about him, though, is...
The design?
No, not just the design in that sense.
Not just the design.
My boy Cliff Jumper got a 10-minute scene and died.
It was
for
like
Wheeljack to live.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but that was like 5 minutes. Not even that. It was like, hey, it's Cliff Jumper. Oh.
But Wheeljack got to live because of him.
Yes. Now.
And Wheeljack looked better in that film than what he did in this film. And I don't know why it was that big of a jump.
Is that design-wise better or actual fidelity better?
Well, I don't know how... Okay, so they've been on Earth for what? Like...
7 years.
7 years?
Mm.
You don't just develop an accent.
I mean, there's a lot of people who do. There's people who live in like places for like 5 years and have the strongest accent ever. There's a white guy in China.
Though, so why would he need to?
I don't know.
And the other thing is, he's an American voice out. He's voiced by an American,
is he actually
American in the B film?
In the B film, I'm pretty sure it's just a random guy.
But he sounds better in that film.
Yes.
And he's also his normal color scheme, and he looks like himself.
Actually, Ethan, I'm gonna about the how do you randomly develop an accent? In G1, he had a Brooklyn accent on Cybertron.
Yeah.
How?
Well, how did Rodimus have an American accent?
Because he went with the humans a lot. Daniel was his friend. So, like,
yeah, but it's like everyone on Cybertron had random accents. But if you think about it, what's the most neutral tone?
Neutral tone would be just basic. I think it'd be British English probably. I think British English is the base.
So Brooklyn wouldn't be too far off that.
It's two denotions down essentially. But I do agree with you. Just having like a Spanish accent with no contact with the humans, unless they do their thing based off of like encountering another culture.
But you could also say it's the vehicle modes like influence. But a Volkswagen Bug's a European car.
Yeah, it's
combi van.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and there's like the Ducati for RC, which is she wasn't Japanese.
No, but she's still very much the same as she's got the same.
I think she looks better. It's definitely. I think the RC from Bumblebee. It like for some reason the face it had like these weird lines on it. Like I've got her Studio Series figure. She's got like a sideburns for some reason on her somewhere. Hang on. It'd be best if I got that out of the way. Focus. 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 Focus.
Put your hand behind her.
Yeah, she's got like weird
like cheek flaps.
Yeah, cheek. Yeah. Do them cheeks do be flapping, bro? But yeah, she's got weird cheek flaps on her. And in this one, she's got lines that go in, like they indent rather than outdent. And she looks a lot better. Twitter seems to think so too.
Moving on.
You got
another point?
Honestly, let's talk about the music again.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the music again. Because
I love the fact that they included some of the 2007 music.
I had heard, a little birdie told me that there may or may not be music from the 2007 film in it, and I was like, oh, so it's the best film ever made then. I wasn't expecting it to be at like the height of the climax of the film. I wasn't expecting it because I'd forgotten about it because I was too busy enjoying the funny Transformers film. And then it happened and I was like, oh. I nearly cried because of it.
Yeah.
And then it went from Arrival to Earth straight into Optimus's theme. Or like No Sacrifice, No Victory. The Optimus theme is used like so many times.
Everywhere. It's like the Tessa theme.
Yeah, well, the Tessa theme's only used in one scene in Age of Extinction. And that pisses me off because it's the best one
Peter.
from 4 and 5. Peter. Only us two get that. I hope you realize.
I know.
Yeah. Oh my god! I just remember the best part of the film. Maximals, Autobots, roll out. I love that. I love that shit.
Maximize and roll out. Yeah.
Oh, well, it was they both said roll out, and then fucking Ron Perlman just hits it with the best yell ever, which is Cheetor Rhinox maximize, and then just screams at the top of his lungs, and it's like,
oh, Rhinox and Cheetor's like robot form. I wish we got a spin around of them. Rhinox, from what I can see, looked spot on.
I want to. That's what I want to get. I want to get the studio series of the Maximals, and then probably Prime, and that'll be it. Because those Maximals look so good. Like,
yeah,
bro.
Rhinox is probably my favorite looking out of the two. We did get to see Air Razor's maximized form.
Her character. Oh my god. I didn't expect to have like an emotion during this film, but being sad for a giant bird. What the fuck? I did not expect for Air Razor to have the saddest death. That's another thing. There was a lot of fake out death in the film. I thought Mirage was straight up dead. Like, that was a really good way to be like, this is a tragic death. His leg being shot off, then his spine, and then his arm, and then he's like, he didn't hit me in the spark. He didn't get my spark. I'm good. But bro, I can't move. And then Noah gets his little exo suit. It looks like Kicker's.
Yeah, he wears Mirage as a skin.
Bro, that's just like, it's literally a skinwalker.
I do like Mirage and Noah's first interaction in the warehouse where it's I'm an alien. He's just straight up
it's like I'm not a possessed car. Those aren't real. I'm an alien. And then what was it? He said to Noah, "You've been inside me."
Yeah.
Apparently, there's gonna be another deleted scene where RC is like sitting in Wheeljack, and there's like there was supposed to be like a deleted scene where Wheeljack says, "This isn't. It's been a long time since you've been inside me." And literally everyone on like the TFI Creations Discord, everyone went, "RC pegs Wheeljack." Just. Let's go, baby! But yeah, they did a lot with Noah's character rather than just him being, hey, he's a college student. His dad's name isn't Sparkplug. Neither of them are mechanics. They just and then they went, here's Cade Yeager, a completely new character, who's more like Spike than Sam Witwicky was. And they're like, here's his daughter, whose only point in the film is to be used as the damsel. And then an Irish American guy who's dating his 16-year-old daughter. And then they have to bring up statutory laws in a Transformers film. I don't like Age of Extinction. All in all, Rise of the Beasts, very good film. Very good film. I said 9 out of 10. Karen doesn't want to focus.
I said 8.5.
Yeah, you said 8.5.
Because of my pickiness of Wheeljack.
Yeah, don't worry. I think everyone's gonna have that taken off. What is going on with my camera? Really good start to really good jumping off point for the rest of the franchise, especially with the prequel film coming out next year, Transformers 1. They said it was going to be to the live action films. I don't know if that was for the Bay films or for these films. It wouldn't make sense to do the Bay films anymore. So, unless they wanted to add extra stuff. That was Unclubbable Media Group review of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, our first film review, if you couldn't tell already. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you want to see more of these reviews. And we'll see you next time. And remember...
Grandma loves you.
There we are.
She's up there or down there.
Yeah.